Mm. Good evening, all. Welcome to the proposal writing workshop. Dr. Menaka would join a bit later, most probably. Meanwhile, I'm planning to continue this discussion. Actually, this is not a one-way discussion. You can ask any question. Interactively, you can discuss anything if you want. So first of all, we'll go through this template. Uh, this proposal writing template is in this learner management system. And once you visit this learning resources 2022-23, then you can find that template. But there's no hard and fast rule to use it as it is. You can use any template or else any platform, any format that preferred by yourself. You can work on that. So that's the very first thing I want to tell you. So you can find anything and any most appropriate template for your work. And the other most important point I want to emphasize is this is not mainly focused on research, but it's mainly focused on an application development. So I would strongly encourage you to start with an application. Then if you find any important features needs to be added, then definitely a research component would be helpful for you. I'll give a small overview what you need to add in your document and some of chapters and some of key points that you need to add. For an example, you can start with an introduction, a chapter. In this chapter, you can discuss different kinds of aspects. First of all, you can have an executive summary. What you need to add under this executive summary, you have to clearly specify what you have done, what is your solution, and what kind of audience and what kind of people will get uh, something benefited from this. And it's basically a quick reference for you. Give me a second, guys. Right. So you need to add an executive summary at the beginning. It's not something that you are telling as it is. So you are giving a very brief introduction what you did, right? What you did basically, and the problem that you have faced and what you have solved. So it's giving for a CEO or a board of directors, for an example, within 1 or 2 minutes, entire project should be understand under this executive summary. So please be careful what you are writing with a very limited number of words. Usually 100 to 250 words is more than enough for this executive summary. You should be able to summarize it, clearly convey your message to the audience. Next, you can go for an introduction. This could be a formal introduction for your project that you are going to do. It's briefly introduce your software, what you are proposing. So this is the introduction to the domain. This is the introduction to the technology that you are using. For an example, you might use PHP and MySQL, or else the domain, and your domain might be education or shipping or healthcare, whatever. The domain should be clearly introduced. So under this introduction part, the audience should be able to understand clearly what kind of technology, what kind of subject matter we should understand to go through with this document. Next, you can go for like a small high-level overview. What is your team is doing? Everyone should be contribute to the code. Yes, of course. Apart from that, one person can be more specialized under testing. One person can be much specializing in user UI UX, and someone can be like mainly handling the project manager role. Project manager role can be like rotate among the team members. Yes, that's the best method. So everyone is responsible to uh, drive in this project to the success. Likewise, you can give an overview of your team members and what they are responsible and what they are doing. For the individual projects, there's no teams, so don't get upset. You just skip this part. It's more than enough. Finally, at the end of this introduction part, you should give a clear conclusion, your summary of the proposal, overview of the proposal, and clear overview should be get by this person. Whoever the reader should be clearly understand what is this mean. If there's any confusions, your introduction is failed. So you should pitch your person, right? Get all of these technological jargon, business vectors, right? Everything. And in the other hand, you should clearly understand this is not highly like 100% technical report. This is kind of a proposal. This is pitch for technical and non-technical people. So it should be not just a technical story that you are giving, but also you are giving a clear overview of or the clear picture to the audience. So this kind of a introduction is more than enough to understand what you are doing and what kind of things that you should like the person should get before into this context. Next, we'll dive to the problem statements. Now, we have a problem statement initially. Anything. This is the place that you are taking your problem to the audience or the reader. The reader should be understand clearly. Oh my God, yes, of course, we have a problem in here. We can give number of examples for these cases. We can have a very simple problems, the social problems. For an example, e-commerce sites, we can have common websites for different kinds of services. Those kinds of social related problems we can find. Sometimes you have selected much more related to data oriented data science and machine learning and stuff. So it depends. In the other hand, there might be a like bit of technical problem you have found. For an example, latencies, APIs are not connected, cloud instances are not synchronized properly, right? Backup related stuff, cybersecurity or attack handling kind of things. Any kind of problems are okay under this context. But if you can have a good technical story, for an example, API synchronization related stuff, or else debugging related stuff, that might be much interesting because you are doing software engineering. Nevertheless, we are accepting whatever the things that you are proposing. Somehow, the problem should be clearly conveyed to the audience. That means you should clearly write what is the problem means. Within couple of lines, your reader should understand, yes, we have this problem. Then you can have a detailed problem description. A clear, detailed problem description will definitely help you to convey your message clearly. Initially, you have given some overview. Yes, of course, we have this kind of a problem. Then later on, you are telling the details of this problem. Furthermore, you can discuss the impact of this problem. For an example, think I'm suffering a problem. What is the problem now? I'm suffering. I can't find a servant for my work. For an example, babysitting or pet sitting. This might be a problem for me. You can tell it. You can tell in a detail too the impact of this problem too. You don't want to bother the solution. You have a chapter for that. But you tell your convenience to the problem is the most important before you deep dive into this story. You can discuss the processes that currently we have. For an example, if you are developing a web application, these kind of applications we have, these are the processes that we have and the current architecture of the problem, right? Different kinds of things might be there. You can emphasize these problems in here and there to make sure the reader is clearly understood. Yes, of course, there's a problem. Somehow, at the end of the chapter, if your reader got understanding, yes, of course, I have this problem, or it might be not I, but generally for society, or else some specific people. For an example, cricketers do have this kind of a problem. It's not a general problem. It's a very specific business vector, sports under the sports cricketers. It's a very specific niche problem they have. Yes, of course, that's fine. You can tackle that problem. You can clearly convey that problem to the audience. Yes, of course, we have this problem. That statement should in their head, end of this problem chapter or this story that you are telling. Later on, you can tell the solution. Now, there is a problem. The reader is clearly understand. Yes, we have a problem like this. Next, what you are doing? Hey, I have a solution for this. Yeah, wow. The reader is interested, right? Now, reader will definitely go through. Reader will see what is the solution for this. Initially, what you can do is you can tell, here we have a summary, what this is solution in a very high level. For an example, I don't have a babysitter for me. Here we have a website for that. You just tell me what kind of a babysitter we want. This website will propose one person. Oh, this website will solve that problem. It depends. Different kinds of things might be fine. And you can tell the benefits of the solution. By using this software, definitely we can have these kinds of value-added things for me. It emphasizes the solution. Oh, yes, of course, it solves my problem. Plus, it helps me a lot. That thinking should in the reader's head after getting these benefits. Well, now we can take the reader into much more deeper. Now we can tell the software overview. You can draw very high level use case diagrams. You can draw very high level system architecture and so on and so forth. Then you can discuss the features and the benefits. What kind of features we have, calling or reservations, or it might be API instance calling, or whatever the backend services that you are writing, whatever the features and the features and the benefits you can discuss. Later on, you can tell how it works, how your software works from end to end, architectural diagrams, process flows. All of these things you can clearly convey to the audience. The best way is using diagrams. You can have an activity diagram, you can have a use case diagram, you can have a flow chart, different kinds of methodologies you have to convey this message. Then you can tell what kind of uh, examples or the use cases in your software in action. For an example, it's not benefited only for me. For an example, I'm finding a babysitter, but it's not benefited only for me. There is another end. Who is the other end? The other end is a person who is willing to be a babysitter, a person who is wants to be a babysitter. Or else you may take this example into a different perspective. For an example, think I'm developing a job publication website. It's important for many people, recruiters and the job seekers. Not only that, there might be some third party consultants and services, or some different kinds of people might benefited from these cases. So your solution might be not only for one set of people, but also for many other people. So you could find all of these people from different angles and different contexts. Then you can clearly tell what kind of things we have in these places. Any questions up to now? Any questions, student? Do you have any questions?
Okay, I'll suggest something, Manisha. The students who have joined here, if you have any contact with the other students, since he's going to do until 8 presentation, which is a very good one. If you have WhatsApp or any other way of connecting with the other students, can you quickly pass a message asking whoever who can to log in? Group D, Disanayaka and Mogana. If you have any contacts with your group members.
Actually, madam, I am from higher diploma project. I am an individual student.
I think Mogana also individual.
With three of them are individual, ma'am.
Individual.
We are from 4489
4489.
subject.
489, madam.
Yeah,
Are you then what about 6689? You
I
posted
think
the
job
message
today.
over there, neither?
Yeah, madam. I posted both places.
Yeah, I saw your message. So none of them are here.
Yeah.
We will post the recording then.
Sure, madam. Sure.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Right. Any questions, students? Do you have any questions? Right. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, raise that question, clear it out. Even afterwards, after this discussion, you can send your proposals. I think a couple of students, Morgana, shared the proposal with the supervisor, if I'm not mistaken. So somehow you can share these proposals with me. Then I also can go through and give a feedback to you, what kind of things that we can do. Right. Where we were stopped was like the solution architecture, the overview of the solution, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really important. This is the place that you can explore the technicality of this problem, right? Because once it comes to a solution, we like from end user's point of view, we don't feel, we can't see the story behind what happens. For an example, think you are using ChatGPT. So the ChatGPT from your perspective, from an end user's perspective, it's just generating text for you, isn't it? So if we take the high level story, this is just like I'm typing something, press enter key, boom, it generates a solution. Well, it's a nice solution for you. You are happy. From end users, so the perspective of this non-technical story is completely different than the technical story that you are telling. I want to emphasize that. Assume this GPT's this backend services, how strong is it? The technical nature of the technical. That should be emphasized in your proposal too, not just the UI and other stuff. Yes, of course, those are the basic functions you end users might happy. Yes, of course, it's mattering. But the security, the robustness, performance, especially whatever the things that related to software, the backend related stuff is hidden from the end user. We hide all of these complexities. We make the end user happy, but we take all of these risks for our end. That point you can clearly explain under the solution. You can have nice diagrams, all of these things, architectural designs, whatever the designs, activity diagrams, all these use case diagrams, process flow diagrams, anything that related to your solution can be exposed in this place. Next, you can come up with an implementation plan. How you are going to implement your solution. You can have a proper timeline. You can have a nice milestone with the deliverables and the deployment. Best way to explain this scenario is using a Gantt chart. There are a lot of free tools available to draw these Gantt charts. You can use any of free tool to draw this Gantt chart. This is basically telling what kind of activity in the duration that you are using, like when you are going to deliver these things. This is the timeline. You are starting this project this date, and this goes to up to these places, and it's ending in this case, because project is a temporary work. It's not something that we evolve throughout the time. It's the start date we have, an end date we have, a scope we have, and limited constraints and the resources we have. Within the limited time, you are going to deliver this kind of an interesting story, your product. This product you are delivered these things to the audience. The most important point is these are the key milestones in your project. You should clearly understand what are the deliverables that you should deliver in these days. Simply, these are the milestones. Probably you have learned under the project management, but I'm just recapping. Milestones, we evaluated specifically under this subject. You have to come up with different kinds of places, the deliverables, presentations. I believe you know what I'm speaking here. You have to deliver these things. We have specifically mentioned what kind of milestones that you need to deliver. For an example, very soon you have to deliver your project proposal. Then you have the progress review 1, 2, and 3. For the other students, individual students, you have proposal 1, 2, and the final defense. Apart from these major milestones, please make sure to discuss with your supervisor. My general suggestion is give a weekly feedback to your supervisor. Weekly update to your supervisor. Then your supervisor is aware of the progress. And in the other hand, you are stuck because you want to deliver something within this week. If you expand it to 2 weeks or 1 month, then you might be a bit lazy. That's the nature. Yes, of course, including myself. If it's a very tight schedule, your milestones and the deliverables are very smaller and rapid deliverables are giving. Simply, in the other hand, what we are speaking in this agile deliverables. So discuss with your supervisor. You can tell, you can specify. Don't ask from the supervisor what kind of deliverables you are expecting. Instead of you tell, here the deliverables I'm going to deliver. Whether these are good or bad, or do I need to do these kinds of modifications, then definitely your supervisor will help you to come up to the most elegant, most robust, most absorbable solution to the business world. So keep milestones. We have evaluations. So make sure to deliver it. It's a must. In the other hand, your supervisor's deliverables are important. We are not evaluating those things. Yourself and the supervisor is the people who are involved with these minor milestones. Next, the deployment process. How we are going to deploy. Whether you are going to deploy it as a web product or a mobile product, or what kind of a service, what are the places that you are going to deploy, and so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, there should be a working product. Sometimes it might be just local host, that's fine. We don't want to host it in real world by with these expensive hosting services. But if you find, definitely I am firmly sure you could be able to find at least a couple of free hosting services. That is a nice experience apart from the development. Development is important. Yes, of course, I agree with you. But hosting is another nice experience, guaranteed. Because the local things might be like going here and there after once we configure. We have a config file, we have robot.txt file. Right? Hosting is an interesting story from my point of view. Rather than just developing, try to host it. You can use simple products like Firebase. Those Firebase kind of hosting services and stuff, they provide a lot of authentication, databases, databases, like many functions and features available. Just go for and see what kind of things might fit for my case. Sometimes you can um, produce a machine learning product. So you can tell here, this is my model, use it in somewhere else. Or it might be a headless application, that's fine. You have some instances are calling, you have no UI at all, but API calls are calling here and there. And you have something to show, this is my synchronization, this is the product that delivers. Sometimes within 15 minutes, you can't present all of these things. It takes sometimes hours. So once it comes to presentation, you have to think how to deliver those things too. You have to discuss with your supervisor how the deployment is going on in such cases. But I haven't seen that kind of a complicated topic throughout the things. But in case if you're changing your mind, I'm just giving an early alert. Financial plan is not something really important in this case. You can just tell the pricing structure and stuff. If you have some pricing model and stuff, some cost breakdowns and return on investment. So if you have something, yes, of course you can tell. If not, most probably this case you don't have. If you want some products to purchase or something, then you can emphasize these things in this chapter. But probably within one page, you could be able to finish all of this cost management related stuff, because under these projects, I don't think so you are involving with I don't think so you are involving with any expensive things at all. This is an interesting part, risk analysis. What are the risks and risks that can be happen in future, right? Potential risks and the mitigation strategies should be clearly explained. What kind of risks we can face in future? It could be a cybersecurity attack, or it might be slowness of an application, or it might be technology is changing, or it might be something that incompatible technologies, or the technical stack is changing, or there might be some advanced solutions almost coming to the market competitor. And the next, you have to tell this mitigation strategy, how you are going to mitigate these risks. Because once it comes to a software, it's not the software that available in this world. Your product is not the only one and only product. There could be some similar products if we research. And they are definitely having all the features that you are developing, yes, of course. Plus more features too, right? So you might unable to tackle all of these things in real world things. But as an undergraduate, the bare minimum things that you should understand, what kind of risks that can be occurred. You have to think, because if it is a real world scenario, even if you are a freelancer, for an example, I was a freelancer in many years, right? So the people are asking, do you believe this product is secured? What kind of vulnerabilities you found? Did you follow the network latencies and stuff, how it behaves? Some technical risks are there. So you should think what kind of vulnerabilities, what kind of issues can be occurred in here and there. This risk analysis is also one of really important part. Eventually, you can go for a conclusion. It's a recap of the entire proposal that you have done. But this is not the executive summary. Please clearly understand. One of biggest mistake that I have come across is executive summary and the summary are exact same. Executive summary is something really summarized. For an example, if it is a journal or a conference paper, it's the abstract. This summary is a detailed summary that you clearly articulate your project proposal, solution, methodologies that you are following, architectural stories, everything at the end of the day. This conclusion should tell a person who is not busy like a CEO or a director, but this conclusion should be able to convince your message for a top management like senior manager or manager. They have much more time, more than a senior CEO or a director. So they are much interesting. So keep in mind, you are writing your executive summary for the CEO, but you are writing the summary for the manager or the senior manager. So your manager is much interesting than much interest in the whole story than the CEO, because CEO is really interested for a very high level discussion that you are telling. So this is something that you have to tell throughout the project. So at the conclusion is, of course, that's all. So you might be safe. If your conclusion, like all the chapters, your introduction, your problem, your solution, and different kinds of timelines and stuff, if everything is nicely gone through, if the conclusion is nicely done, definitely your project will be a product or a project that really interested to the end users or the readers. Before I move to the next slide, any questions? All right, if you don't have any questions, I'll move to the do's and the don'ts once you are writing this kind of an article. The very first thing is it should be clear and concise. Please avoid unwanted jargon. Make sure your proposal is easy to understand to any reader. Any reader in the sense, technical people and the non-technical people. Though it's reading by non-technical people, you don't think this is just a business proposal. This is a technical proposal, partially, half away, right? So you have to tell the technical stories too, not just a management proposal. Focus on the benefits. Always you have to highlight who get the benefit. Who is your customer? To whom that you are going to sell this product? Who is my end user? Who wants this solution? For an example, I do have a baby now, a kid. For an example, think I have a baby 1 or 2 years, like very small. Then I want a babysitter. Now think I'm a father, like I'm a person who do have my kids are grown very well. Now my kid is like almost 18 years old. Do I need a babysitter? No. So if you are trying to pitch to me, there's no point at all. You need to pitch to the relevant person. Then only you can tell, oh yeah, this is my proper audience. Then you have to customize your proposal. You have to address to the specific needs and the pain points of the client. That, as I told you, you have to customize to whom that I'm going to tell. If there is a person who is really interested with your backend services, whatever the things that you develop, your database connection, synchronization, all of these things, yes, of course, we have to consider for those people too. So please be careful once you are writing. There are people who are interested how this system is going. Is there any vulnerabilities or openings to the security threats or not? How the network is handled, how those instances are calling from here and there. Please keep that also in your mind. And you have to like come up with a small couple of two additional things I have added. The professional design, probably you have almost gone through. The font size, the alignments, and layout, page size, using images, right? Some basic things. The professional designing is really important. And make sure to proofread it properly. You have to keep it many times, multiple times, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5, right? Even you read it 5 times, you might find some typos. Yes, of course, we are human, because our eyes might go here and there, misunderstand or skip some words, difference, minor text there might be. So the best thing is give to someone else. I mean, not you don't pay for someone else, right? Just one of your colleague and ask Can you please look into this? Give me a feedback, because friends can give a nice feedback. I'm not telling share your answer, right? I don't think share your anything, but your colleague can give a nice feedback to you. Yes, there are different kinds of issues, or else, yes, that's good to go. Don'ts, what kind of things that you should not do? Don't be vague. Don't come up with something unstable, very general, not sure. Right. I don't know. Well, it's suitable for these people and that people and these people. And I'm not sure what kind of tech stack I'm going to use. I might use Java, Spring Boot, or else I might use Python, Django, right? Yeah, well, no, that's vague. Your statements, your stories should be strong. It's concrete. It's not an abstract something that you are telling. So your specificity is really, really important. Don't overpromise. Your proposal is promising to deliver something. Be realistic. You can deliver these things. So you promise to deliver these things. Don't promise that anything that you can't promise. It's a must. It's a very interesting point that you should understand. You should promise whatever things that you can deliver, not any other thing. By the way, if you are interested in future to implement something, for an example, yes, of course, I have a babysitter and all of these things develop. And future, for future, you want to see, okay, don't we have a robot for this? It's something in future in your head. At the moment, you can't do it. You know, right? You know your skills, your abilities, and all of these things. So you know your scope very well. So please don't over promise. To the point, you have to write, yes, of course, I can do this. But don't come up with a very simple thing and tell, hey, this is all I can do, because you are doing an undergraduate degree. Always don't use complex jargon, because there might be people who are reading this document different kinds of levels. There might be highly technical to highly non-technical people. I'm not telling highly non-technical people are not worth. They are really important. The management stuff, management people, yes, of course. HR people, yes, of course. Finance people, yes, of course. But they don't know what is this technical jargon at all. You might tell all these Hadoop clusters and stuff. At the end of the day, the reader might be really confused. Oh my God, what is this? So always it should be a balanced document. Always think the audience perspective. Please don't neglect the audience's perspective. So you should clearly convey how it benefited, as I'm always telling. You are telling, you are writing for defense yourself in your final year projects. Right? Yes, of course, agreed. But don't think it's just for your final year project. This is something you taking for your job interview. This is something that you keep forever with your life. Everywhere you are telling, hey, I'm the person who did this thing in my undergraduate final year project. It's a nice story. Definitely. After a while, after a decade of time, you'll realize, oh, yes, of course. That sentence is really important. Don't submit in the last minute, right? It might be lot of problems in last minute. So the best thing is, before 1 week or 2 weeks, based on the supervisor's availability, give your draft proposal. Let the supervisor to check all of these things. Sometimes if you don't have a supervisor at the moment, no worries at all. We'll allocate you to a supervisor later on. If you don't have means, you have to convince to someone else to become a supervisor. It's more harder than any other thing, because supervisor should be happy to guide you, right? So your story should be interested for whoever the person in the panel. So you should be clearly convince your message. Somehow, back to the point. Don't submit anything in the last minute. Before 1 week, complete it, give it, review it, finish it, finalize the project. At least two days early, you submit it. Then still, if you find something else, you have opportunity to delete it and upload it again. No worries at all. It's overridden. Your previous submission is overridden. But if it is late submission, there's a penalty for you. Most probably, at the end of the day, you might face for a penalty. And please make sure to understand your supervisor's approval is important for your future submissions. If your supervisor is unhappy, there might be some confusions and conflicts at the end of the day. So don't make it a problem. And in the other hand, always keep your supervisor updated. Whatever things that you are doing, update to that supervisor, right? Most suitable solution, or the most robust solution, is keep a specific time weekly. Monday 10 a.m. to 15 a.m. 15 minutes. You give a quick update to your supervisor. I'm doing this updates for 2 subjects at the moment, and for this 4489 I have another 1 student. Next week, next Monday onwards, I'm arranging a weekly update for that student also. So you discuss with your supervisor. Sometimes your supervisor is extremely busy, so your supervisor might unable to meet you weekly. Somehow try to discuss with your supervisor, get the feedback every time. That makes sense for you a lot. And the other point is, don't make it personalized, right? Your proposals are less effective. Customize each proposal to address the specific needs of the context of our audience is really important. Don't forget, as I told you, this is just something that you are telling, but it's go far beyond your story. Next point, don't ignore the feedback. You have to incorporate all the feedback, as much as feedback from your supervisors, your colleagues, whoever the person is giving a feedback for you. Sometimes it fit for you, sometimes it not fit for you. Then you do much more research. Some of your supervisors' words are really important. You have to adhere to that because they are experienced panel in this case. We have really, really powerful set of people. They worked in industry, they worked in academia, so they have much more experience than any other place, any other person. So I'm pretty sure your supervisor might guide a lot, and the supervisor's feedback is really important for you. Please make sure to incorporate it to your document. And the executive summary. So the very first thing, everyone is reading this executive summary. This is the starting point of your proposal. In case if you do not clearly convey this message to the audience, the reader, definitely it's a problem. So clearly understand, the executive summary gives everything for you, whether I'm reading this proposal or not. In other words, from my point of view, this is the elevators discussion. What is this elevators discussion from my point of view? I'll give the quick overview. Assume you met a CEO. You are taking your business proposal to a business, and you met the CEO in this elevator. And then you have only a couple of seconds to explain your project because CEO is really busy. CEO is telling, yes, of course, tell me your proposal now. Now, you know the time that it takes to ground floor to 6th floor, right? Or 5th floor or to 4th floor. It's just a couple of seconds. Within this couple of seconds, you are telling your whole story. Then, if that is important, CEO might take you into his or her room, or else tell, okay, go and present to the board of directors. This is really important. This is the point of this executive summary. Another point is, please don't be unprofessional. I'm pretty sure you are professional up to very good standards. I have seen your documents, some of like 4489. I have gone through the documents. It's interested, good, and keep that momentum throughout this project. Meanwhile, any questions? Seems no questions, no worries. We'll continue to another interesting perspective of this discussion. Using AI for the report writing. Well, it's a big story. right? This is quite open-ended. If I'm telling, don't use it, I'm pretty sure you're not consider that words. Because you might use ChatGPT, you might use many GPTs. I can't restrict you. Neither anyway, there's no solution for this. So I'm pretty sure people might use it. From my point of view, don't get misunderstand. This is my point of view, right? If you understood, if you are clear, write in your terms, then use any tool like Grammarly or any other thing and check your grammar and stuff. Yes, agreed. By writing, it improves your writing skills unless you are rely on some another tool forever. So improve these writing skills. And you can use another tool like Grammarly or whatever free versions we have. Don't pay even a cent, right? Sometimes they are generating incorrect line. Some of the things are a bit weird stuff also, right? So somehow don't spend even a cent. Go through with this ChatGPT and other stuff. Check your grammar and writing style and any other things. That's fine. But write in your words. Write your own things. Specifically, if it is like more towards completely written from these generative AI or generative text generators like ChatGPT and other stuff, we have to think whether we are proceeding with this proposal or not. But we are not rejecting it as it is, since it's just a story that you have used, because we have to use nowadays, right? We have to be open, right? We have to be open, and if a tool is available, why should not? Yes, it's an argument. But my point of view is improve the writing skills too while you are doing your technical story. I believe you agree with me. In case if you are like, we are not native English people, so we might face some of issues in writing and other stuff. Yes, of course. So these tools might be stronger than us, definitely in English language. Agreed. So many of the cases we can use these tools, but be vigilant and wise and think whether I'm going to use it or not. Somehow proofread it properly. Make sure to submit something with no grammar. It's really hard. Sometimes minimal grammar. What I'm telling is like a couple of grammar instances are okay, agreed, because we are not English people, but it's not telling like 100%. I'm telling like 98% grammar, okay. I'm happy with that. Another interesting point is plagiarism. Plagiarism is a serious academic misconduct. Please don't use anyone else's documents, theses, any other things, right? Any other, even your best friends, your senior batch, no one's. It's not just text only, it's all about coding too. What the meaning of this coding means, you are taking someone else's code and giving us to us. And you can go to GitHub and download a project and give it us. In case if we find these kind of scenarios, you will definitely caught to a problem. So don't make your problem into troubles. Write your work. Write your work. In the other hand, I'm not telling if it is something available, something third-party product, like some service, right? Or it might be some software available in GitHub that you can use. Yes, of course, use it, but give the credits to the real author, the person who developed it. Tell, I have used in this project. For an example, think we are using all the Apache products, right? So everything is in GitHub. So we are using it, right? We are, some of the people using Linux and stuff. All the code is available. We are using it, but we are giving the credit to the original person. That's not something that we are doing like, we are like telling someone else's work is like, it's like our work. That's the bad thing that we are doing. Yes, I took from this source. This is available in this Git repository. I have used it for this case. It's available. Yes, of course, that's fine. Agreed. Use as much as I like. If you can use as much as Git projects, yes, of course, it's interesting because it saves your time a lot. Use it. That's fine. But give the credit to the original author and mention and say thank you. Because of you, I save lot of time, lot of effort is saved by yourself. Say thank you. The other point that I want to tell you, referencing. another interesting story, and this is my last point that I want to emphasize you under this proposal writing. Referencing is important because once it comes to this plagiarism, again, I'm back to the slide. Plagiarism occurring many times because you are copy pasting directly without telling who from where you have taken. Sometimes you paraphrase someone else's content and you are telling, we have Quillbot and other stuff to paraphrase. Yes, I know, right? As an academic, I know all of these things that you can do, good and bad things, right? What my suggestion is, please don't like copy somewhere and paraphrase and submit and give it to really hard to understand. You read first of all, right? Think, guaranteed, you take something from that kind of a thing and read, you might see a lot of issues in there. So please don't do it. What I'm telling is referencing is you are taking some story from somewhere else. For an example, I have used Apache Kafka from this, or I'm using PyTS from this. You can specifically, they have specifically told in which conference, in where, what kind of place these things are published, or else you can have this website I'm using. But keep in mind, couple of references are really problematic. One is social media generated content, or else some of the community written content. Shall I take all of these things into a one single word to unauthorized or unprofessional or personal writing stuff? In the other hand, I'll tell the same story, user-generated content. User-generated content in the sense you can write a blog and you can publish it. You can go to any lot of blog websites we have, right? You can write whatever things that you want, then you can publish it. There is no evaluation of that user-generated content. In Facebook, you publish anything that you want. You are telling there's a bomb in Rajgiri at the moment. Actually, there's no bomb at all. Then I'm referring 2022, June 20th, this kind of a bomb happened in Rajgiri, and within brackets, I'm giving the reference to what happens. It's a big story. So we are in a trouble. But what are the valid academic references? Those are the user-generated content. What I'm telling is don't use it. It makes problematic Wikipedia pages and so on and so forth. What are the things that we can use academically valid references? What are these things? We can have official websites. For an example, we have official Samsung website. We have official Python website. We have official Java website. You can use it. Yes, of course, it's reviewed by the organization. Or else you can have journal articles, research papers, books, right? You can use white papers. Those are reviewed by some professionals. So you don't have any problem to like confirm whether it's true or false because it's reviewed by an organization. There are people who followed all of these things. So please make sure to add proper referencing as much as, but you don't want to refer, right? I found this article, sun rises from east. Yeah, that's something very common, right? You don't want to refer something. But if there is something that we found, researchers done these kind of research, and at the end of the day, we are telling, okay, if we use H2SO4 and some another H2O2 and combine all of these things in this method, and we can cure the cancer. Oh, that's something that we have to refer. Clear? What to refer and what not to refer. Many things we can skip. Sri Lanka is a small island. Yes, nothing to specifically tell. Yes, of course, right? That's okay. This referencing is really important to give the credibility, plagiarism related issues, verification. Someone can check, right? Someone can check whether what is this case is going on. Some person might be interested. And academic integrity and so on and so forth. Last but not least, I'm telling, right, referencing styles. We have a lot of referencing styles, APA, Harvard, and many other things. But generally, from a technical perspective, what I learned was, I have to tell, right? What I learned is we have to use IEEE referencing. That's for the technical people. If you go to this APA and other stuff, you can find those are much related to the businesses and stuff. But IEEE specifically for the technical people. Once it comes to this IEEE referencing, you can find mainly 2 points. One is in-text citations. In the in-text citations means you are writing something in here. This person find these things. Then within square bracket, you have 1, 2, 3 wise, right? You can find, yeah, we have something written again here, here, something here. Then this is the second reference. And you have something in here. You have 3 and 4 references. Likewise, you have numbers, right? You might find different referencing styles. That's why I'm telling some reference styles. We have the author and the year. So these are different styles. My suggestion is under this project, we all use IEEE referencing because that's consistent and it's easy for everyone. And that's more towards the standards for the technical people. If you go to any publication related to the technical stories, I'm pretty sure they have used IEEE. Many cases, more than 80% if I'm not mistaken. Right. Please make sure to refer as much as, especially for your proposal, there might be not a lot, but later on, definitely you might have a lot. Right. That's all for you today. I'm open for any questions if you have to raise.
So excuse me.
Yeah, tell me.
So I found a template in LMS. So
Yes.
under that propose approach, development approach. Can I know what are the things that I should include under development approach?
Development approach, you can tell what kind of development methodologies that you are following, your architectural design, your use cases and stuff.
Okay, so if I state the technologies that I use, the
Yeah,
tools that
tech
I'm
stack.
using to
Yeah,
develop,
tech stack. Yes, tech stack.
that's correct, right?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay. So there is also next one is the project plan. Under the project plan, there are some assumptions and constraints to be included. So what to include under them, sir?
Yeah, you can have any assumption. For an example, you keep an assumption, this technology stack, whatever things. For an example, think we have a connector in MySQL and PHP. It's not an assumption, it's true. Truly we have assumed, like you don't know anything. We'll take an example. We have Django website developed, and you assume this is connected to Firebase. So this is a technical assumption, but it's very critical assumption. In the other hand, you might have very non-critical assumptions like business stories. This might be this kind of thing and that kind of thing. Likewise, like some general assumptions you might have. Please make sure to have these assumptions minimum. Please be specific as much as. If you are taking a lot of assumptions, sometimes that makes a trouble you later on because you kept an assumption, but it's not happened. For an example, if you are doing a data science project, uh, at the initial stage, you assume the whatever the organization is giving all the clear data, but later on you realized, oh, this is not the all real data. So please minimal to have these assumptions as much as be confident whenever you are doing this proposal presentation or the proposal submission.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
So also we should be recording a meeting minutes, right? For this project.
Yes, of course, you have
S-
to add all of these things, your log and stuff.
okay. Okay. So when filling the meeting minutes, so when we meet with our supervisor, the whole meetings that we are meeting, should we include all of them?
Irshad, you are speaking this proposal.
No, sir. Meeting minutes, there is a specific thing.
Yeah, well, meeting minutes. In this case, I don't think you do have lot of meeting minutes to add. So it's not mandatory in this proposal, because this,
Proposal. Okay.
like, after the proposal presentation only we confirm the supervisor. This is like unconfirmed allocation. So like the same person might don't worry, I'm not changing anyone, right? I'll keep it everything as it is, but it's just something unconfirmed. So after this proposal defense, you are confirmed to have this supervision. So
Okay, sir.
meeting minutes are not really mandatory. Later on, you want.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? All right then. Dr. Menaka, Madam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Manisha,
Yeah,
I
anything
was
to
just
input?
wondering whether what we have specified is whether it is APA style. But
IEEE.
whatever the style, huh?
I have mentioned IEEE.
Yeah. You mentioned IEEE. I mean, we have to check whether in the template what we have given is whether IEEE or APA.
All right, fine.
We will have to double check it and let them know exactly what we are looking for here.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. You did a nice presentation, but I'm very sad that only 4489 students are there. Not a single student from 6689 who has a submission on the coming days. In the coming days. So what to do?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can wind up.
Okay, then thank you everyone for attending and keeping with me. So we'll meet very soon again. See you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.